Ladies and gentlemen and graphic designers, we're going to do Photoshop 4 working with selections, and I'm speaking fast because there's a lot to learn, and I don't want you to get bored. So we're going to move fast. Don't forget that. Here's what we're going to learn. All right, we're going to do it in sections and parts. Okay, so write this down. A raster image is made up of squares called pixels. If you zoom in on an image, what do you see? Well, let's take a look. So we're going to go open up this thing called, so we're going to go File, Open, and we're going to open up this thing called Cutting Board Bad. And if we zoom in on it, what do you see? You see pixels, okay, because Photoshop is raster based. Okay, everything in Photoshop. Okay, so I want to show you what things students oftentimes do on their big projects, and it's really bad. Okay, so here's what they do. They open up something like this, right, from the internet. They get a picture, and they really like this picture. Okay, so I'm going to, and they think, oh, this is great. And so they open it, and then they save it. Okay, and then they're going to like, oh, I'm going to add another picture, picture to it. So I want to show you this picture. So here's, now look at the quality. That's good quality for that lettuce picture, right? But here's what students do. They'll go, oh, I'm going to go File, Place, and they're going to place that exact picture. It's good quality, and they place it, and then what happens? It ruins the quality, right? So you never do that. You never start off with low quality. You start off with the correct quality you need, and then add things to it. So I want you to do the same thing I just did. Open up the cutting board bad quality, save it. I want you to place the lettuce, and then I want you to save it in your folder with your name on it. So we're going to go File, Save As. We're going to go to your folder with your name on it. You're going to go into Creative Computers. You're going to go into a folder called Raster Design Photoshop. You're going to go into the book lessons, and you're going to save it as cutting board bad quality and save that. Okay? Okay, so let's keep moving through this thing. All right, so what we're going to do instead of that mistake, we're going to start off with the correct quality. And so for us, we're going to pretend like we're going to make an advertisement for printing. And so if you're printing, you want it to be 300 ppi. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go File, New. Okay, 8.5 by 11, that's the size of a piece of paper. 300, that is good quality ppi for printing. And CMYK is what our printer uses. And we're going to click OK. Okay, and so then we have this document that's good quality, and then we're going to go File, Place, and we're going to place the okay, I found it. We're going to place the 04 Start TIF. TIF, that's a high quality format, and I'm going to hit Enter, and we're going to accept that, and we're going to work from that. Okay, so we've got a good document. All right, so the other thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the scoring guide. So the scoring guide is going to look a little bit something like this, and pretty close. This is pretty close to what we're gonna make it look like. So you can work through the scoring guide. All right, so let's select the caret with the pen tool. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to zoom in on the caret, and we're going to use the pen tool. The pen tool is what photographers use, so people who are really good and are professionals will use the pen tool. It's also the hardest tool to use. So you're going to click on the pen tool. You're going to make sure it's on this. If you click into these other options, you're going to be drawing stuff, but we don't want to draw stuff. We actually want to select stuff. Okay, so, and again, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more because the pen tool is very challenging but very accurate. So you're going to click, and you're going to drag, and you're going to click, and you're going to drag. On this one, I'm going to hit Alt, and I'm going to change directions. Okay, and then you're going to click and drag. I'm not going to do this whole thing like this because it's going to be too crazy. So I'm going to hit pause and then come back after I've selected it. Okay, so I'm making a little progress, but one thing I want to show you on this thing is when, like, you have a top of the curve and a bottom of the curve. An easy way to do it is go to the top of the curve and just drag, go to the bottom of the curve, drag, top of the curve, drag, bottom of the curve, drag. That's a pretty easy way to keep going. I'm going to hit pause again and move. Okay, so I've got the whole caret selected. So now what I want you to do is go to Paths, and so we have this working path. We're going to name it, so we're going to click on it and name it caret. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to load it as a selection. So we're going to go there, and we want to load it as a selection. Okay, and so now we should be able to move it. Actually, I don't think we can't, we're not moving it. So let's go Edit, Undo, Move, because this whole thing is so this whole thing is a smart object. So we need, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and let's go to merge them together. Okay, so now I should be able to move just the carrot. Okay, so I can move the carrot around. What we're going to do though is we're going to make a new layer. So we're going to go layer new via copy. Okay, that way I don't really mess up this stuff. And then we're going to, I always do it too fast. You have to go click, 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 and then you can name it. Oh, actually, no, we're going to call this pen tool because we selected it with the pen tool. Okay, so now we have this new layer, and if I want to select a layer, I press the control key and I click on the picture, and now I select it again. So now I can move this new layer, and then I'm going to press control and T, and I'm going to transform it, and I'm going to move, not that. So I'm going to rotate it like that and move it where I want. Okay? Okay, so write this down. In order to edit an image, you need to select the pixels first. So that's what we just did. We used a pen tool to create a path, and then we selected it and we moved it. The pen tool allows you to select freehand and with straight lines. We did that. Write this down. Put a selection around. So I just showed you how to do that. So you can select everything. Select a whole layer basically. Okay, so now we're going to select the pepper with the lasso tool. The lasso tool allows you to select freehand. And using the Alt key with the lasso tool switches the polygon lasso tool. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Now we're going to focus on the pepper. Now on the, wait, weren't we going to make an adjustment on that thing? Hold on. Oh yeah, we go we have to adjust the color of the carrot. I forgot a piece. Okay, so we're back. So we're right here on the carrot, and we want to make it a little bit more red, right? And the carrot's selected. Make sure the carrot's selected, and then you're gonna go to the. Oh, it's not gonna let me do anything until I finish transforming. I have to hit enter. Okay, so now I'm gonna go I'm on the carrot layer. I'm gonna go to color balance, and I'm gonna make it way more red. Okay, and it's obviously not making any adjustments at all. So let's throw that thing in the trash. Let's see what's happening. So we're going to go to the carrot. There's a carrot. We're going to press Control and we're going to click on it to select it. And we want to do a fill layer. So let's do it. Let's do this. Let's do a solid color. We're going to do it red. And so, but we're going to click OK, and then we'll change the opacity of that so that the original carrot you can start to kind of see the original carrot showing through. And then we're going to change it to, we can try different ones. We can try different blending modes, and we'll hit the down arrow until we find one. I like darker color. I like lighten. I like screen. Lighten color. Oh, I like overlay. Let's go with overlay, but we'll turn the opacity down so you can see it. So we're trying to turn the color orange a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's go back to our PowerPoint. Okay. So now we're going to go to selecting the peppers with the lasso tool. All right. So let's go back to Photoshop. We're going to zoom in on the pepper. Okay, so one tool that you can use to freehand is called the lasso tool. And so you basically just click and you just draw around it the best you can. And I have limited luck with this particular tool, but also you can press Alt and you can go like this, click, 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 and it draws in straight lines, but there's no straight lines on the pepper, so this doesn't work very well. Okay. Okay, so what we can do now is we've made a selection there. Now the problem is I'm on the wrong layer, so I'm not selecting anything. I have to be on this layer. Okay, so if I go there and I'm going to go layer, I'm going to go new, I'm going to make a new layer via copy. So I just made a copy of that, and we're going to click, 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 click. Okay, and then I'm going to call this the lasso. Okay, and so we're going to double click on the hand, and again we have to we're going to control click on that, and we're going to move, nope, we're going to use the move tool, and we're going to move that copy over to here. And then let's go back to our PowerPoint. Okay, now let's try the magnetic lasso tool and see how that works. And remember, when you're using the magnetic lasso tool, right, by the way, everything in red, write it down. Left clicking forces an anchor point. So let's try it again. So we're gonna go to our main layer. We're gonna zoom in on the pepper, and then this time we're gonna go to the magnetic lasso tool. And the magnetic lasso tool sees the color difference. It sees that's gray, that's yellow, and it basically just snaps it into place. And so, like, if I click it, if I left click it, it'll force it to have an anchor point. But for the most part, it just does a pretty good job on its own. So you just drag around, and this is much faster. But it only works if there's a good difference between the colors around it. So because the yellow is bright and the gray is dull, it can easily tell the difference. Okay, so we did that. So let's do the same thing. We're going to go Layer, New, via Copy, and we're going to call this one Magnetic. Okay, and we're going to click on it, select it, double click on the hand so we can see the whole thing, and we're going to move this over here behind it, like something like that. Actually, we'll move this one more in the middle like this. We'll probably just to make it look good, we'll probably turn off the lasso. That one looks pretty bad. All right, and by the way, it's selected. I'm just going to go select, deselect. All right, so that's it for the first section. We're going to do it in 3 sections, so go on to the next video when you're